Hi, this is Jack with Vacationies. Do me a favor and subscribe to the videos. Hit the button and you'll get notified when I post new videos. So last week I had an interview with Maddie, who had her wedding at the Moon Palace. We did that wedding with her a couple months ago. She had some great information. So here's part two of that video and my interview with Maddie. And again, some more great information. So hopefully you enjoy learning from Maddie about how she had her wedding with Vacationies at the Moon Palace in Cancun. So
Mhm.
let's forget about you in this case.
Mhm.
How did Jared enjoy his wedding? What was his favorite part of the wedding? I mean, we grooms and significant others kind of matter here a little bit. But so tell us, what did he have any envisionment of what he wanted for the wedding, and how was his experience?
I think for him, it was more of he's excited to have everyone there. He let me do, I didn't have any help. He's like, if I tried to help you, you wouldn't let me. You wouldn't let me have any input. So I think honestly, and I know that other grooms might want to be more interactive with it, but he just sat back and he trusted my vision and it came to life how, exactly how if I was happy, he was happy. So
You know
the
what
perfect,
they say, happy wife, happy life, right?
yeah.
What was your favorite part of the vacation resort experience? Not about the wedding, just about the resort. I mean, one of the things I tell people is no one can ever go bored at this resort.
Mhm. Yeah, honestly, my favorite part was again how big it was, but with all of our family and friends there, just how everybody was able to make their own vacation out of it. And everyone that I talked to said this was the best wedding experience I've ever been to. And they all loved the resort. Like I had nothing but good feedback from people who were there. And I don't know if they're lying to me or not, who knows?
They
But from
weren't,
what I
because we
heard,
spoke to some. So yeah.
yeah, from what I heard, everyone had a really, really positive experience. And to me, that was my goal. They work 6 days on, 1 day off. Again, very hard workers, at least at this resort. And in my experience with Mexico, very hard workers. Um, she was at the ready within an hour of every text message I sent her. They
Who
do
was
a
it?
job.
Remember
Um,
who they assigned to you?
Erica was
Okay.
her name is Erica. She was my coordinator for my on resort coordinator. The person who did my wedding planning with me was Yannin, and then
We had
Daniela.
two people, right? Because we had a switch in the middle.
No, we actually
We
didn't. I had gotten
we
in
had a
contact.
conversation with Danielle after you and I spoke, and we got things hopefully straightened out from that. And to
We
people's right, so
And I
that
would say if you are having any anxiety about feeling like you're not getting the attention that you need for your wedding, they are handling it, but they have a lot going on in their defense. And at the time when you are a bride trying not to be bridezilla, it's hard to really process like why haven't they talked to me in 2 weeks? Like it is hard, especially if you're trying to get quotes, you're trying to formulate your budget. Like walking into it, we had to be okay with not knowing what our total was going to be until almost the week of, because we changed stuff around. That doesn't have to be the case for you. We went in without a budget. I don't know if you want me to share, but we ended up spending
well, let me,
wedding.
we can, yeah, we can talk about that. So let
Okay.
me ask you that question. So one of the reasons we look at Palace Resorts, or we did, and things have changed for
Mhm.
larger groups, is because Palace truly has amazing perks. Meaning,
Mhm.
if you, based upon your rooms and or room nights, you earn free hours. One of the few resorts that truly does this anymore.
Mhm.
Plus, at the time when Maddie got married, they also had a promotion that you would get dollars towards that you could use for your wedding extras. So let's talk about that. So ultimately, you ended up having, because you had so many people staying, you ended up probably having enough hours that your events were free, right? Your reception was free, and your rehearsal, or your rehearsal, because that was not a private event, but your welcome party were free.
Yeah. For me, yes. And if you want a very basic package wedding, the food's included, the white tables, the chairs, all the stuff. I know it can be confusing. I've actually had quite a few brides reach out to me that have found me through social media to ask questions about that because it can be confusing. And I know I've connected a couple of them with you, Jack, but um, essentially, unless you want to add on the extras, there's you can do almost every event for cheap or almost free. Like my rehearsal dinner didn't cost a dime to do, but I didn't do any private. I did a semi-private. So we did it in a restaurant.
But you
Um,
could have had your rehearsal dinner. I mean, you could have done a private rehearsal dinner
for
for
free.
free. Yeah, but
Mhm.
you
The very
chose,
basic setup.
right? You chose to have your rehearsal dinner in a restaurant, but they would have
Yeah.
done it because your hours, you would have done it for free. And to your point, I always tell people with Palace, look, if you want 100% free wedding, you can get close to that. But what we find is many people don't want the white linens for the reception and don't want the non-fancy plastic chairs. So what I think we find is that for the rehearsal dinner, people may accept less fancy stuff.
Mhm.
And for the reception, that's where people are going to spend the money on nicer tablecloths, nicer chairs, better flowers, lights, and things like that. But again, with Palace, one of the benefits is you're going to get, well, I'm not sure moving forward with brides, but you in your case got $20 per room night to spend on that stuff, which really helps out. So when you have a larger wedding, it's how Palace is great quality, but also they have the best perks today in 2023. They still have the best perks possible for larger weddings. No one else that I know, well, maybe one other group will give you free private events. And legitimately, as Maddie said, it's not as though they're forcing you, as I tell people, to have chicken fingers and macaroni and cheese. They will overwhelm you with the options you have for your private events in terms of the culinary menus. And they, in terms of alcohol, you're getting the top shelf alcohol you see around the resort. It's not for your private event. They're giving you squirt bottle vodka. If you see something, you say to them, my family likes Stoli. Stoli's at a bar, Stoli's at your private events. I mean, you can tell us, I mean, what your experience has been, but that's been my experience in having events there and listening to brides have events. The people at Palace come away telling me it's the options I have are too overwhelming. I'm like, you have two
Yeah.
options. Either take a package from a package-oriented resort or go to Palace or some of the other resorts I like working with that basically give you that link to that catalog. And I look at it all the time and I'm like, oh my God, they have 100 different chairs you can choose from.
I actually picked out my menu over a couple bottles of wine with one of my best friends because I was like, I need you to come and organize my brain. You can literally have whatever spread you want. So it is pretty remarkable. They have select menus to help you out. So if you want more Indian food, they have an Indian food theme. If you want Mediterranean, they have that. If you want American food or Mexican, they literally have set menus for that. But what we opted into was going through that book. I mean, they give you like 18 salad options, 20 soup options, like entrees. You pick out 10 to 20 entrees out of a thing of 100 of them for your we didn't do like I think it's all buffet there. I'd correct me if I'm wrong, but
Well,
ours was like
yeah, so Palace, just so everybody knows, so right now, as in 23, with the free private events, a buffet, and they limit you in terms of number of entrees and selections. Um, but if you do want a plated dinner, I think they charge $10 to $20 per person, and their
Mhm.
answer is they have to staff it differently. Well, Maddie, it sounds like you had a great time. It sounds like some of the guests we've talked to have had a great time. Sounds like Jared and your family. I know I spoke to a couple of your family members. Everybody seemed to have a great time. I
Mhm.
know we talked about golfing for people and getting their tea times done, and the resort was good about that. People that are worried about eating too much, like Maddie said, you can walk. Plus, they have two gyms that you can go to, and they're pretty large gyms. And if you are want to pamper, they also have amazing spas, which are not included, but you can make your spa appointments with the vacation team. And if you want to do excursions all over the resort, if for some reason you want to leave the resort, they have the excursion, the vacation planners that the guests can go to and arrange if they want to go zip lining, swimming with dolphins, whatever it is. But in my mind, if you're there 5 nights, there's really no reason to leave the moon. There is just so much
Mhm.
day and night, music, entertainment, shows, pool parties, you name it, right?
Totally agree. We did do on one of our last days a catamaran with a smaller group, and the resort coordinating that for us too was super simple. They have private transportation, things like that that you can look into, and just ask. They're willing to give discounts too if you have large group going to the spa or a large group going to the golf, because it can look pretty pricey with your initial quotes. But just talk to people there, and a lot of times you can see if they'll give party discounts, things like that.
That's great
Through it.
advice. Great advice. Well, Maddie, thank you very much for allowing us to learn more about how you hosted your wedding at the Moon Palace in Cancun. And I'm glad everybody had an amazing time.
Yeah, it was awesome. And if anyone wanted to reach out to me or ask me any questions, I'm an open book. I will share as much as I can to people. But if you wanted to reach out to me on social media, it's the Madi Mood, and then Madi, Madi, Mood, Mood. I have had brides just find me from the palace, from tagging stuff on Instagram, ask me a lot of questions even since then, and I'm always happy to chat with people about it. And send them to Jack, of course. You are
Oh,
the best.
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maddie. So thanks again for allowing us to talk with you.